I the villain for attending a funeral of someone I helped down a dark path? My guilt won't let go. The gray clouds hovered over the small town, a stark reflection of my heavy heart. It had been a tough week leading up to the funeral of Lucy, a girl I once considered a close friend. At just 22, she had tragically succumbed to the demons of addiction, the very demons I had unknowingly helped unleash. I sat in my cramped apartment, a pile of overdue bills on one side and empty takeout containers cluttering the coffee table, as overwhelming emotions of guilt and sadness washed over me. A couple of years ago, Lucy and I were inseparable, mostly because we were two lost souls just trying to find a way to escape the mundane realities of life. I had introduced her to the world of partying, the late nights, and the thrill of experimenting with substances that felt like they lifted us out of our dreary existence. What had started as innocent fun quickly spiraled into something more dangerous, something I didn't fully comprehend until it was too late. When I received the news of her passing, I felt like I was suffocating. The memories flooded back, her laughter echoing in our favorite haunts, the late-night conversations that felt so significant at the time. Yet, alongside those memories were the regrets. Could I have saved her? Should I have recognized the signs of her descent before it was too late? Sitting there, torn between my feelings, I grappled with a decision that felt crucial but terrifying. Should I attend her funeral? Part of me felt the heavy burden of shame. I could already imagine the looks from her family and friends, wary eyes that would silently accuse me of complicity in Lucy's downfall. That night, I posted on a popular forum, seeking clarity. Am I the asshole for wanting to go to the funeral of a girl that I helped get addicted to drugs? I typed, heart racing as I hit send. The responses poured in support, anger, confusion. It was a mixed bag, but one comment struck a chord: you have to think about your own recovery first. That simple sentence echoed in my mind as the days flew by. My therapist always emphasized the importance of maintaining my recovery and surrounding myself with positive influences. I knew I wasn't in the best emotional place to attend a gathering that would undoubtedly stir up deep feelings of guilt and sorrow. After all, I had just over a year of sobriety under my belt, and it felt precarious at times. Amid the storm of emotions, I sought counsel from my sponsor. He had been my rock during my recovery. His own no-nonsense approach to life was both refreshing and grounding. Going could put you in a bad spot, he said, looking at me earnestly. You know how these things can go. It might trigger old habits. Focus on your healing instead. On the morning of the funeral, I felt a rush of anxiety. I considered attending, but somewhere deep down, I knew it wasn't the right choice for me. My stomach churned, torn between a desire to mourn and primitive instincts pushing me to reach for something, anything, to numb the pain. Instead of driving to the funeral home, I grabbed my leash. Let's go, buddy, I said to my dog, Ralph, who wagged his tail excitedly at the prospect of an adventure. We hopped into my beat-up car and hit the road, leaving behind the chaos clamoring for my attention. As I drove, I let the wind wash over me, soothing the knots coiling in my stomach. I found an open stretch of beach, and as the sun broke through the clouds, I felt a flicker of warmth against my skin. Ralph and I walked along the shoreline, the rhythmic crash of waves helping me momentarily forget the weight of my guilt. For today, I would allow myself to grieve in my own way. Laughter echoed in the distance as families enjoyed the afternoon, and I felt that bittersweet pang, an ache for Lucy, who should have been making memories like those. Would she have loved this beach as much as I did? Would she have danced on the sand, letting the waves crash around her as she twirled freely? After a long day of walking and reflecting, I returned home feeling a bit lighter. The clouds were still present, but there was sunlight breaking through them. In the following days, I kept myself busy, putting additional focus on my recovery, hitting my meetings, and even volunteering at a local community center. Despite my effort to move forward, I couldn't shake the feeling of guilt surrounding Lucy's funeral. I didn't reach out to her family, knowing it would only add another layer of complication to the sorrow. My heart ached for them, yet I feared that any communication would only highlight my role in their pain. About a week later, I received a text message from an old friend, someone who had found my post online. I saw your message about Lucy. Just checking in to see how you're doing, it read. I felt an immediate wave of shame crash over me, but the connection reminded me that I wasn't alone. I opened up to her about my feelings, and she responded with understanding. Life is so complicated, she replied. We can't predict how our actions affect others until it's too late. It doesn't make you a villain, but you need to forgive yourself. Her words resonated with me as I processed them. I began to understand that while I wished I could rewind time to change things, I had to reckon with the present. Grief was not just about loss, it was about taking responsibility for the past, while also prioritizing self-care for the future. The more I talked about Lucy with my friend, the lighter I felt. We shared memories of her spirit, her joy, and the good times that seemed to get overshadowed by the tragedy. By sharing those moments, I felt a semblance of healing taking place, a part of my grief transforming into gratitude for the moments we had shared, no matter how fleeting. Days turned into weeks, and I found solace in the routines I'd built around my recovery. The guilt still lurked in the corners of my mind, whispering reminders of how I had contributed to Lucy's struggles. I still pondered whether I should have been there at the funeral, but I also realized that the decision I made was a form of self-preservation. It was a poorly kept secret that many of us carried the weight of our past choices, and as time moved forward, I found clarity. Each meeting I attended, every day I refrained from temptation, was a step toward reclaiming my life. Slowly, I started to see my past not as a burden, but as a teacher. As time passed, I decided to honor Lucy's memory in a way that felt authentic. I signed up to volunteer for a local organization that supported families affected by addiction. Through this initiative, I was able to channel my pain and guilt into something positive, forming connections with others who understood the complexities of addiction and loss. While I knew I couldn't change what had happened, I could offer support to others who were navigating similar paths. The act of helping others in their darkest moments brought me the healing I hadn't anticipated. The shared laughter, tears, and stories with others struggling became my saving grace, reinforcing the notion that it was okay to feel lost sometimes. Moments of connection sparked hope where once there had only been despair. I began to foster relationships with families who had suffered losses just like Lucy's, learning to listen and offer kindness rather than letting guilt consume me. Though Lucy was gone, she had unwittingly impacted countless lives, including my own, and I believed that through my actions, I could continue her legacy. Time continued to soften the sharpness of my past decisions, but I couldn't ignore the lesson they imparted. In moments of doubt, I reminded myself that life would always bring complicated challenges, yet navigating them while prioritizing my healing could forge a new path. We'll get through this, I whispered to Ralph one afternoon as we sat on the porch. I ruffled his fur, proud of the journey we had taken together. Unforeseen healing may emerge from the deepest wounds, transforming them into sources of strength. In the journey toward forgiveness, both of myself and of the past, I learned to navigate the uncertain terrain of life itself, to live fully, honor the memory of those lost, and choose each day with intention.